As long as I can remember, I've been playing music. I've been in many bands, probably 10 plus. The band that really kind of kicked off was a band called Isolation AD that I formed a couple years ago. I was the guitarist, and from that we had a good run, but then from that I always wanted to be kind of behind the scenes kind of guy. So my wife actually was saying you should try doing vocals, you know, speaking to the crowd. And I was like, no, I can't do it. I'm too shy. And if it wasn't for her, you know, pushing me, saying, you know, you have something to say, you know, the kids need to hear it, I wouldn't be in Judgement as a singer. When I first started going to shows, I was very young. My best friend at the time, he took me to crusty punk shows where everyone was smoking and drinking and just playing fast punk music. And until my best friend's dad got in a accident, he had a DUI, and he ended up murdering a family because he was drinking and driving. And from that point, I was like, I need to change the music I listen to. I was young, maybe 15, 16, and from there, you know, I started researching straight edge, stuff like that. So I started going to a bunch of straight edge shows at a young age, and you know, started a couple bands. Difference in music was when I first saw Sleeping Giant at one of their shows. I remember seeing Tommy on stage, and I had been transitioning from, you know, bands like Hate Breed and just, you know, bands that didn't have the best message on stage. Everything was violence. And I remember seeing Tommy Green, and he was talking on stage just to really influence me to actually make music that makes a difference to all these kids that are suffering. Because of Sleeping Giant, that's what really made me want to do something with music more than just being a band. The two things that I love about Judgement Day is the fact that I overcame my fear of public speaking or being a singer. Another thing I love is just having fun with my friends, and I know there's a lot of kids that deal with depression, suicidal thoughts, and you know, to me that's what it's about. If I can encourage one kid not to end their life and that it does get better, that's the most important thing to me, besides my family. Being the front man of a band is a very important job, you know, because everyone's looking at you. You are leading that band. When it comes to faith, you know, I have my faith in God. When it comes to playing a show, I like to lead by example. I think that sometimes is more important than maybe even a sermon on stage. So when it comes to sharing your faith, you know, as long as you're living what you're saying on stage, I think that makes more of a difference. I am a new father of 2 children, so for me, being a father is the most important thing in my life right now. I know there's a lot of absent fathers, especially in the scene. That's all I ever hear about. So to me, I don't ever want to become that father that's never there for their children. To me, family is more important than a band. Good tips that I do, because I've been on 3 full US tours so far. And at the time I only had my wife, so now we have 2 kids. Some things I did, I always text her pictures of the venue, me on the road. I'd call her every day, every night. So, you know, as long as you involve your family, if you're a musician and you have a family, you know, that's the most important. Just showing them love. The future of Judgement Day is we're going to be writing a full album. But the most important thing to us is to make a positive influence on the scene by spreading just pure love. You know, leading by example. That's the most important thing to us. It's not about getting signed. It's about living to what we preach. Wherever this band goes, I'm not really too concerned as long as we can make somewhat of a difference to the kids that are struggling. You know, to me, suicide is really big. To know that there are kids ending their life because they have no positive influence. You know, I just hope that one day this band can make a positive difference.